So let's look at the shoulder joint or glenohumeral joint. So we'll start out with some movements. So we'll start off with the half anatomical position. You can be in any comfortable seat, or you can even do this on a chair. We'll start off with an upper body anatomical position with the arms in neutral. So the first pure movement of the shoulders is flexion. And flexion is something that happens in the sagittal plane. So you go all the way up, usually it's about 170 degrees, and start to down move away from flexion. So I'm going towards extension. And then stop at neutral, right at the sides of the body. And from there, go into extension, and that is moving my arms back behind my body, which is also happening in the sagittal plane. So it's splitting in half from side to side, but in this case it will be a plane that goes down the arm, and you're moving forward into flexion on the sagittal plane, then moving back into shoulder extension on the sagittal plane. The other pure movement that we do is abduction and deduction, or taking away from the centre line. And that happens out to the sides, up about 170 degrees or 180. Also moving down towards abduction. And when you're moving away from abduction, come back towards the centre of the body. And you're adducting, so abducting, taking it away, then adducting, you're adding it back towards the centre of the body. So those are two movements that you're going to see a lot in your yoga practice. We do a lot of overhead reaching. In Warrior One, for example, when you're coming into Warrior One and you bring your arms up into flexion. And if you're in Warrior Two, your arms would be out into abduction, 90 degrees. For Warrior Two, abduction. And the movement that I like to talk about, that halfway in between those two, is scaption. Scaption is a movement plane that makes your scapula and your rotator cuff happy. So if you have somebody in your class who has a shoulder injury, this is a plane of movement that might be more agreeable to their shoulders. So this is halfway in between pure reflection and pure abduction. So instead of coming straight up like this, they would be about 45 degrees off centre, making the arms like a kind of a V shape, and would rise up a bit wider and just as high as your shoulders feel happy. And then come back down. So it's just an angle off centre. And you can try that movement and see what that shoulder blade feels like as you go up and down. It's an easier plane of movement for the scapula to do than the upward rotation at the arms going to scaption and then downward rotation. So you're moving on the plane of the scapula. Flexion, scaption is the wider V shape. And abduction, opening your arms out wide.